Anyway, going back to spaces, I like to break things down into three specific spaces: social spaces, play spaces, and quiet spaces. So the way they're broken down is what's prioritized in the space. So for a social space, talk is priority. So that's a space where you might have some food, you might have some drinks, places to sit, places to stand, places to be comfortable. That's where your guests are going to be able to chat with each other and meet and mingle and kind of talk a little bit. The next kind of space that we have is the play space. In the play space, play is priority. Whether that's sex, whether that's impact, whether that's a combination of the two. In the play space, it's very important that you establish, scenes aren't to be interrupted. They're to be watched. The scene gets priority and it needs to be respected. And then finally, the third space is the quiet space. That's the recovery space. That's where you go if you have just five people in a row and you need some water and some quiet space. It's where you go if you just got flogged. It's where you go if you're feeling a little overwhelmed and just need a break from the sex and the social stuff. And I'll talk about this a lot, but I think the quiet space is really, really important to have to kind of facilitate the comfort of your guests. All right, moving on. Lighting, pretty straightforward there. Bright light, bad. Soft light, good. The lighting in your space, particularly in the play and the quiet spaces, should be a little bit dimmer, a little bit softer. Really easy to throw a sarong or a sari over a lampshade to kind of dim things down a little bit. We won't talk too much about lighting. Same thing with music. This is your event. The music you choose and the volume of the music will really kind of create the vibe. If you're, going for like a really hardcore thing, you can throw on some Rob Zombie for some hardcore impact play. Or on the flip side, if you want something a little lighter, you can go with that. Food for the social spaces. I'll talk a little bit about that. This is kind of the pizza joke. If you do decide that you want to serve refreshments, light foods are better. Shorter party, less food. If you're having a multi-day event, you might actually want to have it catered and get kind of like more of a designated time for the meals. But yeah, just choose light foods. Stay away from things like garlic and cheese. Pepperoni pizza is a bad choice for a myriad of reasons. Trust me, we learned this one the hard way. And then the other thing is alcohol. Most of the time, you'll have to do a BYOB. People kind of bring their own booze, but you can decide, if it's a bigger space, if you want a designated bartender or not. And this is another thing that we've done at the BDSM sex parties that I've hosted and gone to is we have a 3-drink rule, where what we'll do is if for like 20 people and up, we wristband everyone at the beginning of the night. And every time they get a drink, they get an X on their wristband. After 3 X's, their wristband gets cut off. They can still have sex, but we don't let them do higher risk activities such as impact play or rope. And again, what you do when you do that is you're basically letting people prioritize their night. Like, do you want to go and hang out and drink at a bar and maybe fuck some people, or do you want to tie or be tied? Where do you want to prioritize that? So they still have agency, they still have choice, but you're basically saying, this space does not value getting drunk and tying someone up. That's not a thing that we want to have happen.